In this episode of Flea Market Rescue, we're going to take a little look back at the most viewed videos of 2021. My mom literally stole the show with this episode. And I have some exciting news to share with you about Flea Market Rescue in 2022. So if you're ready, let's take a look at the most viewed videos of 2021. With over 32,000 views, this episode ranked number 4 for Flea Market Rescue. Here's a look at just one of the projects in this video. In this video, we take 3 vases that we got from the thrift store, and with a little paint and some techniques, we turn these into gorgeous high-end vases. Let's go ahead and work on this peachy sand one. We're going to take Annie Sloan graphite paint, and we're just going to paint the whole thing in graphite. We're going to repeat the process on both of these as well. Okay, so they're all dry, and we're going to go ahead and take this white paint, and we're going to work on the one with the base. We're going to make it look as if it's chipped up, and it's just going to have a great look to it. Very vintage. We're going to start by applying it where you're not going to cover it completely because you want some of that black to shine through. So I'm just kind of dabbing at it and just putting the paint in certain areas. I love this vase. I guess you could call it an urn too. It just has like this awesome look to it. It's very heavy. It's cast iron. It's just a solid piece, but that red did nothing for it. I'm really loving how this is looking, and we're just going to let that dry now. Now while that's drying, we're going to go ahead and use this French linen, and we're going to paint our taller sandy peach vase. Now you don't want to paint every inch of this. You want to leave some of that black shining through because that's what shows your detail. Okay, I think that looks good. We're just going to go ahead and let that dry. Okay, so now that it's dry, we're going to go ahead and do a little wash with this Paris gray. I'm going to dip my brush into the Paris gray, and then I'm going to dip it into the water, and then we're going to go over the vase. We're just going to streak it on there, and we're going to highlight certain areas with the Paris gray. This gives it a nice layered effect. I think this came out gorgeous and looks very expensive. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish up that little $1.99 spotted vase. We're going to take a little of this Hun Fleur. It's by Annie Sloan, and it's like a brownish type paint, and we're going to mix that with the graphite. That brown just kind of warms up that graphite and just it makes it look very rich looking. And we'll let that dry. Back in the day when I made primitive dolls, we used this cinnamon to make them look super old. And we're going to do that with this vase because we want to give it a little character. So I'm just going to sprinkle on some of the cinnamon, and it's just going to highlight some of the details in the vase. Bear with me, it's going to look awesome. I know it looks strange what we're doing, but it just gives a really awesome effect, and I think you're really going to like it when it's done. Now we're going to take a little of our graphite paint and we're just going to dab over some of those high spots and make that detail just pop right out. Now, as you can see, it's starting to look like old cast iron. And you know what we started with. It definitely was not cast iron. If you're noticing that it's just a little too heavy with the cinnamon, just keep on dabbing it with that brush and a little of that graphite paint. Okay, now that we have these looking very expensive, we want to stage them so that they look expensive. So in this one here, I bought this at IKEA, and we're just going to put a little paper down on the bottom just to raise it up slightly. And I'm just going to stick this right on top. And look how cute that looks. It is definitely an awesome vase. So that's one. Then let's go ahead and move on to the taller vase. I love the painting on this. It looks so rich. And I have this from Hobby Lobby, and you can get that when they have it 50% off. I'm just going to go ahead and shove some of this in here. It has a nice wild kind of look. I could totally see this like at a mansion. So I think that looks really awesome too. So there's one with the moss. Then we have this one here that I got from, IKEA, which I think this looks great in that too. And then we did this one in white, and so I'm going to go ahead and add a little more craft paper to the bottom of this. And then at the dollar store, I got this reindeer moss. My mom and I use that a lot. And I'm going to take the hot glue gun and just glue some of that in there. Go ahead and put a little glue. Hold that down. And then we'll smush some of that reindeer moss right in there. So I think that's a nice touch to this one here. And they all look so much better than when we started. To see more projects from this video, I've left a link. With over 37,000 views, this episode ranked number 3 for Flea Market Rescue. And because of this video has made my transfer decals become my number 1 seller in my Etsy shop. This is just one of the projects from this video. When I was at the thrift store, I came across these canisters for $7.99. As you can see, they're out of date. They have olives on them. They're yellow. And it's just not what a lot of people are looking for nowadays. However, I'm going to show you how to turn them into beautiful farmhouse canisters that I think a lot of people would want. I went ahead and I taped up the inside of the canisters because I still want them to be food safe. And then I went ahead and I sprayed them with flat white enamel paint. These are going to require 2 coats, so you're going to want to do that so that we don't have any olives or yellow shining through. Okay, so I have these transfers, and we are going to be putting them on these. These transfer decals will be available in our little store that we're launching on Etsy. The store will be open the first week of February, so girls, get out there and get some ugly canisters and get them ready. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to cut around our image. You want to leave maybe like a 1/4 inch, maybe 1/8 of an inch, just so that you can handle the transfer decal without really touching the image. Now we're going to carefully peel off the backing. I'm turning this around just to make it a little easier so I can line up the wording, and it can be like maybe 2 inches from the bottom. Make sure it's in the right position before you put it down, because this is very sticky and it'll be very difficult to get off if you can even get it off. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and rub that down with my finger, making sure that there aren't any bubbles or anything like that. You just kind of want to just run your finger over it and just press it down really well. That looks really good to me. Now we're going to work on our piggies, so we want to carefully cut around there, leave about 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, and then we'll be ready to put it on the canister. Look how cute! I'm just rolling this around, just kind of like looking for the best side to put this on. Now I'm putting the cow canister next to it just so I can gauge where it needs to be. You're going to carefully peel off your backing, and then we're going to put it on the canister. Again, make sure your transfer decal is in the right position because once it's down, it's pretty much down. That's all I need is for that one to break. Now with your finger, just kind of like smooth it all out, get any air bubbles out. I find it's easier if you go down the middle and then work out towards the sides. All right, let's finish this up. Okay, you know what we need to do. We need to cut around our image, and then we're going to go ahead and put that on the canister. Let's peel that backing off. This one was a little trickier, and I was so lucky because there was a big hump in the middle and I was able to lift it off, although it did tear a little, so you got to really be careful with these. But it all worked out. And now I'm just smoothing that all down and we are done. And also, just to let you know, you can put some clear coat on these when you're done with them. I love these transfer decals because you can't even see the border that we cut out. They just blend right in. They're so nice and they just really make your things look gorgeous. To see more projects from this video, I've left a link for you. With almost 38,000 views, our trip to Springfield has ranked number 2 of the most watched videos. Let's take a look back at what a wonderful trip it was. It is my favorite place to go. I go every year, and I hope to see some of you there next year. Oh, look at there. There's some jugs. We just used those in the last project. Remember? I just love taking it all in. Look at all these beautiful frames. The spooky little doll over here. Well, you look at these are beyond gorgeous. Here's some more gorgeous frames. You just don't see this kind of stuff in the store. This would be perfect for that sign that I made that said, "You're my cup of tea." It's like treasure hunting. You just never know what you can find. When you come across these boxes, there's a lot of stuff in there, and they're usually priced very reasonable. They have so much stuff. I love looking at furniture because you just never know when you're going to find something cheap that you can flip. These, however, were a little more expensive. They were priced as like what I would probably sell it as, but I don't blame them because, you know, it is a vintage market. People are going to buy. But you always want to keep your eye out for those cheaper pieces that you can flip. I'm loving these pumpkins. They're like cool and they're different. And speaking of pumpkins, these people knocked it out of the park when displaying their pumpkins. I thought this booth was really interesting because she mixed a lot of taxidermy with vintage items. I know that they do a lot of that in Texas, and I think that she did a really good job of this. I love this awning. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'm seeing Sweet Annie everywhere. People have it in their carts, and it just smells so wonderful that my mom and I are definitely going to buy a bundle of this. Oh, and will you look at these burlap bags? I am buying these too.
I bought some Sweet Annie, which smells great. And you can do like a wreath. You can add it into a flower arrangement with hydrangeas and stuff. And my neighbor, I bought her some last year. She made a wreath of it and she put it outside. And she said she has it hanging right now, and you just shake it and you get the smell right back again. So this is a great filler for anything that you really want to do.
All right, my mom also got a great deal here. Look at the size of that.
Well, the stand that I went to, I asked the man how much he wanted for it, and he said that his wife was out shopping, so he's the boss. Now, I know these run at least $50, if not more. And he said, how about 20? Because she won't divorce me after 40 years, but she will yell a lot.
Look at that. That is a huge board.
It goes on. You put this on top of your stove. And then also it makes where you can set things like salt and pepper shakers or whatever, and it protects your, this looks nice instead of your grates or your glass top.
Good find, Mom. This place is just a mammoth. We're starting to get a little collection here. Bet this would look really nice painted. And wow, will you look at this register? Oh my gosh, all that detail, beautiful. And I want to give a shout out to Sarah, one of our fellow YouTubers. I saw her there in Springfield, and I really wish I would have taken a picture with her. These would be cute to add a photo to, with either like a clothespin or maybe some jute tied around there and hang it in a kitchen. These are good prices. When you start getting towards the tents, that's when you're going to see the real vintage market stuff that's put together and displayed really well. I have to say that like a lot of the trends that you see in the stores, they all start at the flea market. We see it at the flea market first, then they reproduce everything and you buy it retail. My favorite booth had to have been, though, Twig. And you can find them on Instagram. I'll leave a link in the description, but you have to check this out. This person has the knack for decorating, and I'm very thankful that they let me tape in here and just show you all of this. Just look at this simple bag. I mean, put with twigs, and it just is so beautifully displayed. I'm going to show you a little more inside here. It's just incredible. This booth is absolutely gorgeous, and they definitely have the knack, I'll tell you. As you can see, a lot of their pieces are already sold. Look at this table. I love this white table. The chairs beautifully complement the table. They have so much character. I just love this. Another hutch. It's just absolutely beautiful. Sweet Annie in there. Just beautiful. Look at all these pieces. restaurant sign is just to die for. Look at that. And the hutch, amazing. You're fine. Just gorgeous. I can see why that is sold. Here's a little more of their display. They use a lot of natural wood and whites and blacks, and I just love it. To see more of our Springfield trip, I left a link for you. With over 57,000 views, my mom's video ranked #1 for us here on Flea Market Rescue. Great job, Mom. I first introduced you to my mom back in January of this year, and she's done 3 videos. You quickly fell in love with her. You're always asking about her. Here is her very first video, which was our highest viewed video. So my mom picked up this really old stool. I think it's like from the 70s, and it was only like $1.99. But I'm going to let her tell you all about it.
Hello everyone. Here's a stool that I purchased at Goodwill for $1.99. I'm going to reupholster it, and I'm going to paint the legs.
So the first thing she did was take a screwdriver and started to take the legs off. Once the legs were off, it was time for paint.
When you're painting, make sure that you do a nice even coat, and if you get any drips, make sure that you get rid of them because they will show up.
Once she was done with that, she put the legs to the side so that they could dry. Now it was on to the seat.
Since this top is really like stained and it's very old, then I always put, it's just a thin batting that you can get at Joann Fabrics. And what I'll do is, I'll lay my cushion down so that it's end to end. I'll take a Sharpie and just kind of mark it. You don't have to be precise, just as long as you have a cutting line.
So with scissors, you're just going to want to cut on that line just to cut that square out.
After you cut this to your lines that you drew, you can use a spray adhesive, or if you don't have that, you can just use school glue and just kind of swipe it, because it's just temporary, just to hold it down until you put your main fabric down. I picked up this fabric from Joann Fabrics and use a coupon because you can get it half off a yard or whatever you need. So when you put your cushion on, make sure that it's straight. You can eyeball it, but then you want to pull this over to make sure that you have enough fabric that when you staple it, it's going to cover. Like this would be fine. It's probably 2 inches, but on this side here, it's a little short. So just move it over. You got plenty here, and you got plenty on this side. You just want to make it even on this side so that it will cover all 4 sides. I'm just going to put a dot right there.
Having that dot there really helps to show you like what line to stay on. So she's just going to cut that out, and then we'll go from there.
Now when you're going to be bringing the materials up, you want to work from the bottom to the top. Don't do the bottom and pull it. You want to have even, because the material will stretch and then your design will be crooked. So what I do is I bring it up, make it as tight as I can, and then I hit it with a staple. Now I probably would just pull this side up now and also hit that with a staple. Now if you look at it, it's really straight. So now we're going to do the other sides, which if you want, you can put another staple now that you know that it is straight. And don't worry about this part because it's all going to be covered. All right, now we're going to pull up this side. And make sure that your lines are going straight. Put a staple there. Put one on the other side, just like I did the other sides. Make sure you're pulling it taut so that it fits nicely on your cushion. And you do that on all 4 sides. So see how pretty it is compared to what it was. Now for your corners, this is a little tricky. Usually I have problems with it, but you've got to play with these. I mean, there's no sure way of getting them perfectly even and, you know, no wrinkles. I pull. And I just make sure that I'm getting everything pretty smooth, which it does take time. But if you want a nice finish, this is what you have to do. So I kind of bring it in on one side, I hold it, and I pull with my fingers here. And then I pull it down. And if you see like there's a wrinkle, just try and smooth it out. Hold everything down. And make sure you're really holding on to it too. And then just hit it with some staples.
That looks beautiful.
This part here, you can just cut this off.
Okay, so now that you know how to do a corner, she's going to go ahead and finish up the rest of the corners, and then we'll go on to the next step.
That looks beautiful.
Okay, to finish the bottom so it looks finished, I took a piece of black, just regular 100% cotton, and I turned it over like 1/4 of an inch and I pressed it down so that you have a nice finished edge. Then I just put it down here on the back to cover the wood and the other material. And then I just take hot glue and I just put a little bit in the corner and just put it down. Now, you want to make sure that you know where your holes are in order to put your legs back. So bring it up and you can see where the holes are. So just take an awl and punch it through. And now you can just take your hot glue So after the back is all glued down, then you can attach your legs back in.
And voila, That's how you turn a $1.99 stool into a beautiful farmhouse stool. My mom has 2 other great projects that are featured in this video, along with some ideas for thrift store items. So if you get a chance, you might want to watch this. I will leave a link in the description, but I'm so proud of my mom for having the #1 video on our channel. Before I tell you what's new for 2022, I just want to thank each and every one of you who subscribed to my channel. It was this time last year that I had just a little over 4,000 subscribers, and now we have over 20,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for all the people who have subscribed to my channel, for everyone who has watched my videos. You're the reason that my channel is growing, and I thank you so much, and I'm very grateful for each and every one of you. All right, now let's get on to the announcements. I'm starting a Facebook group. It's called Flea Market Rescue Projects and Ideas Group. And in this, I want for you to be able to post your photos of things that you've made after watching some of the episodes. So many times in the comments, I'll have people write and say, oh, I made this project, but I never get to see photos of it. So this will be a great way for us to share our projects. Also, some of you in the comments, you leave some really good tips. I think this would be a great way to share tips and techniques. So if you're interested in joining, hop on over to Facebook and sign up for our group. All right, you guys, I have a website now, and I also have a blog, and it's all in one spot. You can go there and read the blog. You can shop. I have the vinyl decals and transfers there, and I will be adding more stuff in. I'm still kind of working on it a little bit, but it's all right there, all for you. And if you have any questions or concerns or just something you just want to tell me, you can email me right here on the website, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Which leads me to our third announcement. We are going to have classes very soon here. I am working on them. The first one to come out is going to be the Scroll Saw 101 class. That should be out in 2 weeks, and I'm just going to give you a little preview of that. So in this class, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about a scroll saw. We're going to go over all the parts of the scroll saw so that you're very familiar with them. I'm going to also teach you how to change a blade. We're going to go shopping for wood, and we're going to cut the wood out. I'm going to tell you about things you might need when you have the scroll saw, and we're going to do some really great projects. So I hope that you're excited about this class. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope that you'll sign up because really there's nothing to worry about with the scroll saw. It is the least one you have to worry about. And here's a clip from the class of how I got started.
So how I got into scroll sawing was from my mother-in-law. She used to do a lot of craft shows, and she had a scroll saw, and she taught me how to do it. And I have to admit, I was afraid, probably how you are right now, but guess what? It was the best thing I learned because I can make such cool stuff with a scroll saw, and so will you. So we're gonna make pumpkins, we're gonna make cows, we're gonna make breadboards, we're gonna do a few different projects, and at the end of this class, you'll know exactly how to use the scroll saw, and you will be up and running.
Okay, so now you're probably wondering, all right, well, how much is this class if I was going to take it? It's $34.95, but you're going to receive 5 free wood patterns that are valued at $30. So basically, you're taking the class for $4.95. So I think that's a pretty good bargain. So again, I am working really hard on trying to get these classes together for you. And the scroll saw is the first one. And the second one is probably going to be becoming a vendor. And we're going to teach you all about doing a vintage market. We're going to teach you how we get long lines and how we sell so much stuff. We're going to tell you all our tips and all our tricks. So that will probably be the next class out too. So if you want to stay up to date with things that are happening with Flea Market Rescue, like the classes and things like that, on the home page of the website, if you scroll down, there's a place to subscribe to a newsletter, and I'll be sending out newsletters when the classes launch and things like that. You can also subscribe by going on the blog page too. On the right-hand side of that page, you'll see a place where you can subscribe to the newsletter as well. So I hope you're excited about the new things to come for Flea Market Rescue. And as always, we will continue to put out new videos on trash to treasure projects every week. And I think I'm going to take you guys thrifting with me more often. You guys have viewed that video that I just put out about a week and a half ago. Over 30,000 views I got. So I think I'm going to do more thrifting videos too. The only thing with that is now you know how crazy I am.
All right, you guys, I did it. I bought it. And I found this little treasure too. I don't know how I missed that. All right, I'm going home now. I've done enough damage. Call the paddy wagon because I have lost my mind. I'm gonna have to drive home with this on my head.
I just want to thank you again for subscribing, for watching, for commenting on my videos. It's because of you that my channel is growing, and I'm very grateful for each and every one of you. So thank you again. And before you go, my mom and I have a special message for you.
Hi, it's Kelly.
And Joanne.
And we just want to wish you a wonderful New Year's.
And from our family to yours, Happy New Year.
If you want to see more great episodes of Flea Market Rescue, make sure to subscribe to my channel and ring the bell. I'm Kelly Sherry, and this has been Flea Market Rescue.